In today's eMoney tip of the week, I want to talk to you about strategies for a bear market. So if you're anything like me, I'm talking to any person I can about making their accounts more aggressive right now. As I'm filming this video, the S&P 500 index is down around 23 or 24%. And quite frankly, that's a bear market. And I'm a big believer of never timing the markets except for one time, and that's when the markets are down 20% or greater. It's always a great time to look at your allocation and possibly move your allocation up a risk tolerance or two. So we've been having this conversation with a ton of clients and talking to a lot of clients about how we can have a greater impact potentially on their plan by doing this. The problem is you got to remember eMoney is a cash flow based software and it's a smoothing software. So it's really been eye-opening for a lot of our clients that are new to bear markets. The most recent one was in March of 2020 with the global pandemic, but it only lasted about 30 days. And in addition to that, most people were focused on things other than their accounts. So for a lot of people, this is the first bear market of memory outside of 2008. And what they're surprised by is, Greg, my percent to goal is not changing, because our clients are trained to not look at their investments as much as they are trained to look at their financial plan. We have them all log in the eMoney portal. We have them look at this. We train them on that. We're constantly in all of our review meetings. This is where we're focused on. And so they're surprised. And I talk about a lot of times, what 82% is when I give you a green light as a certified financial planning professional, that you can be fully funded for retirement. In those other scenarios where you are, not to your goal, that would be the 18%, we can pull back things if needed. Whenever you're above 90%, that's where as a certified financial planning professional, I like to say you have a high probability of success. And I call it the Mendoza line. And Mendoza line is a baseball reference. Unfortunately, it was a Pittsburgh Pirate. I'm a Pirates fan. And it's the lowest batting average considered to be part of the major leagues. So it's a point of, this is a litmus test whether you can be in the major leagues. Same thing here. We believe that 90% is a line to where we can throw the proverbial kitchen sink at it and you're good in most scenarios. Also, where that really comes into play is if we see a bear market, quite frankly, Mr. and Mrs. Client, you're not going to go below that. So one of the things we do with all of our clients, and I'm going to go to alternatives here, is this is something we've done forever, is we always like to test a major market downturn. What do we define a major market downturn on our team? And as we go in here and we put this as, and by the way, this is inflation market assumptions. There's another video where I show you how to do this. We do 1 year, and this is actually typically negative 20. We're going to put this as negative 20. This is sample clients, so I was playing around here with somebody else the other day. But we always want to put it at retirement of the first person to retire, or if they're already retired, we typically go out 2 to 5 years depending on the client. So we're going to hit save in here. And you want to bear with me because my internet is a little bit slow today. We had a little bit of a storm as I'm recording these. And what you can see right here, Mr. and Mrs. Client, even if this, and if you understand Monte Carlo, this should be an impact worse than the Great Depression, because we're already taking the standard deviations of your portfolio. That's in your base Monte Carlo, and we're showing 1 year where everything goes negative 20. And then it's Monte Carlo and after that. So a lot of people challenge me and say, Greg, well, in an aggressive portfolio, you should expect a 40% downturn based upon drawdowns. I understand that that's standard deviation, and that's already built into Monte Carlo. So when you're doing this, understand what the effect of Monte Carlo. You can see how this client in 91 still is at 81. Again, when you're above that 90%, for the most part, I can throw the kitchen sink out of it, and you're going to stay in yellow. Now, what I want to talk to a client about is how to take advantage of the down markets. Again, eMoney doesn't do the best job at this, and the reason why they don't do the best job at this is because it's a smoothing software, because it's cash flow. It's not eMoney, it's using cash flow based software. And if you expect a downturn, if the markets are down 20% and you're at 100% and the S&P 500 is down 20%, if it goes back to even, you get a 25% gain. You can't really show that to here, but you can. And I'm going to show you the way that we had this conversation. And I believe as a CFP professional is the best way to have this conversation inside of eMoney. So let's go ahead and we're just going to clear this all out. Let's get to the base plan. This base plan with all this cleared out is at 91%. So we're going to go into advanced techniques, and this is another way to get here is go to advanced planning. This is a newer way to get here, some of the updates. And so what we're going to do in here is we're going to create a reallocation. So we're going to go to add new, and you're just going to come down here to reinvestment, and we're going to add this fact in here. You can also do this as a transfer. That's another way to do it. That's not the preferred way in my opinion. And so we're going to put here, make asset allocation more aggressive. We're going to do it in this calendar year. Apply taxes. Just be careful with this one. I had a scenario. You got to remember how taxes are figured out in a non-qualified here, where the client in the software that we were using to look at their accounts showed a capital loss, but the way it was input in eMoney, they were showing a capital gain. So, just be careful inside of here what you're doing. Be aware of the tax ramifications. There's a great tax report I've done an eMoney tip of the week on that you can see some of that information in. But let's look here, and that's also a great way to have this conversation for tax loss harvesting. If you're doing donor advised funds and Roth conversions inside of this down market, we'll be doing a lot of that. Again, that's a great way to show that. But we're just talking about straight up making our accounts more aggressive. So our initial allocation, we're going to use our model portfolios, and we're going to go and take our aggressive growth model. So you might have had these built out. Maybe you're using eMoney's. So we're going to go to this do allocation of aggressive growth. This is where you can get very particular. You can put a bunch of these in here and show turning on each account. We had a planner on our team that was doing that, and I was like, why? It's a lot of work. And he was like, well, the client wants to see it. And I challenged him on it. I said, does the client want to see that, or did you think the client wants to see that? So I don't want to do more if I don't have to. So for example, a lot of times we're just doing this with our qualified accounts. You don't have to worry about taxes, so you click on qualified. So for this particular scenario, let's just use qualified retirement assets. You can put all assets, but keep in mind I might take their checking account, another account. So you can see right now this is where their current allocation is versus the aggressive growth. The one other thing I did want to show you inside of here is this is a really cool feature, is the recommended portfolio. This is how we do it a lot of times. So we're bringing on a new client. It's not a bear market. We're going to see what their asset allocation is, and we have a recommended asset allocation. We put that in every client's financial plan. And so we always want to build out one, move into your recommended allocation. This is just for bear markets, and we're trying to tell clients, hey, let's get a lot more aggressive. So we're going to hit save on here. And I'm going to end this eMoney tip of the week right here. I'm going to put this in a two-part series. You can come back next week for the next part of this. We hope this tip helped educate and empower you to do more plans for your clients so that you can impact more lives through financial planning. If you have some great tips we don't know about, we'd love to hear about them. If you have a better way of doing what we just showed you, we'd love to hear about that, because we are a noble profession, and together we can elevate the